No experience, no problem. It's a weird thing to hear. Trust me, it's a weird thing to say, but it's very specific for this new time that we're in when it comes to job searching. Now, there are two things to think about if you are looking for a job and you do not have either any experience or any specific experience for that role. So, this video is perfect for two types of job seekers. Number one, graduates who are just entering the job market, or job switchers who have been in one industry and have decided for whatever reason to go into something completely new that's most likely affected by market saturation. So, two things that we're going to cover in this video. Number one, I'm going to go into it, and then I'm going to go through number two, and why number two is actually a very unique one for your job search at the moment. So, number one, soft profile. What do I mean by soft profile? Companies are not relying on hard skills the way they used to. Now they're focusing on your soft skills, your company culture fit, your work style, your measurable metrics, your personality type, and all these different things that you're inherently either born with or you have as a genuine skill that isn't really built from an experience you've had in the past, but that's more connected to who you are as an individual. So let's go through some of these. Soft skills. This could be communication, leadership, empathy, teamwork, the way you see the world. You might be a neurodiverse job seeker and you just see the world in a very different way. That is an asset for some companies. Not so much for others. Some soft skills are very much an asset, others are not. So it really depends on which soft skills you have that you can then use to get into a role. More companies are relying on soft skills to help get the right stuff to build up the hard skills required. So if you don't have the hard skills, soft skills are something that you can actively talk about. Work style. You have three major work styles. You have in office, you have hybrid, and you have fully remote. Depending on which work style you're looking for, it will really have a specific effect on which companies you want to work with. So, for example, if you want to work in a fully remote position, Amazon probably won't be the right fit. And if Amazon is where you want to work, but you want to do fully remote, you have to rejig the way you sell yourself, and you have to probably think about which company or which soft skill you want to start utilizing. Now, when it comes to work styles, they're connected to soft skills. So, for example, let's use remote as an example. If you're looking for a remote position, your soft skills have to be motivation and time management. If you think about it, remote workers are very motivated and time oriented type of individuals, so they can actually do the work that they need to fulfill the responsibility of the company in the right way. So, work style is another thing that you can actively sell as your soft profile. Company culture fit. Now, company culture fit, a lot of people don't think about this. They're looking for a job, and I get it. You just want to get a position, you want to get an opportunity, and you're not selling the fact of which company culture you're looking at. Now, your company culture could be hierarchical, traditional, employee centric, customer centric. There's literally 1,000 different types of company cultures, depending on which type of company you're looking for. And I use the example of Google and JP Morgan. JP Morgan, very traditional, very hierarchical. Google, very innovative, very creative, and they're very different types of areas. So you have to be very clear about which type of company culture you may be looking for. Now, if you combine that with measurable metrics, now measurable metrics are if you have experience or you have project experience, something you might have done in university or college, or a part-time position or a position you've done that isn't exactly connected to the role you want to do, you can talk about the measurable metrics, which are transferable skills. For example, if you have customer facing experience and you want to get into a data analyst role, they're very different opportunities. But if you explain that there's stakeholder communication in data analytics that you can then do as a measurable metric from the customer service, that's a transferable measurable metric that you can talk about. And last but certainly not least, you have personality fits. Now, your personality type very much plays a part into the type of job that you can get without experience. If you're an extroverted person, if you're a people pleaser, if you're someone who talks actively to individuals, if you're someone who can work on resolution with conflict very easily, if you're calm under pressure, these are all personality traits that companies look for specific types of roles. So that encompasses number one, which is soft profile. So if you're looking for a role that requires quote unquote experience, you might not be looking at it in the correct way. Companies are moving away from experience and are looking to soft profiles because they can build that experience very, very easily. Now, yes, when you look at traditional jobs, you will see experience required. I get that. However, you don't understand the way that these job adverts are actually built. There's usually 4 or 5 people that decide on how they're going to market for a job. One person says we should look for someone with a company culture fit. Another person says we should look for someone with experience. Before you know it, there's too many chefs in the kitchen, a job advert's created, and they might actually just be looking for one of the points of that soft profile. If you think about it, if you have experience but you're the wrong fit in a company culture perspective, you're not getting that job. If you have the right experience but the soft skills are completely useless, you're not getting that job. If your personality trait isn't exactly what the company's looking for, but you have the experience, you're not getting that job. Building experience is very easy for companies to do, again, depending on the role, but it is something that you can talk your way into when you start actively networking. So that's number one, your soft profile. Number two, and this is something that is actively being focused on today, and every 5 minutes, it seems, this changes. AI. AI, and I'm not talking just ChatGPT, I'm not talking about prompt engineering, I'm not talking about vibe coding. I'm talking about how responsibilities in companies is actively changing every single day due to AI. Now, if AI is changing the hard skills required, companies are starting to panic and they're starting to think, well, we need someone who's adaptable. We need someone who can communicate with the team. We need someone who's a leader. We need someone who has empathy. We need someone who has conflict resolution. We need someone who can actually work remotely to be able to implement these changes or actually be non-affected by all of these hard skill changes in the role. Now, every job you're looking at right now, within a year to 2 to 3 years, it will be extremely different on the hard skills required. So companies are looking for people that can move with the times. Companies are looking for people that are very native to AI and the changes it can bring. So if you're looking for a job and you don't have the hard skills required, do not panic, embrace it. Start speaking to companies and start explaining how your soft profile and your thoughts on AI could change the way that you can enter that workforce. There's a free training in the link below on the description. I go into a lot of detail about this and I showcase people that I've worked with. I think it will be very good for you to look at, and I'm looking forward to any questions in the comments, and I'll see you on the next one.